this is what gun ownership in the United States looked like for a vast majority of our history. They shifted it towards suburban dads. They shifted it towards insecure men. A bunch of people who couldn't or didn't go into the military, but who so desperately want that kind of manhood, that validation. Let's get into the video, shall we?
Newsom says he wants to propose a new
smaller?
28th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
It would affect the entire country when it comes to gun control. If passed, it would restrict access to guns in all 50 states.
Every time, it's the same. They tell us we can't stop these massacres. They tell us we have to stand
Tennessee GOP cuts session short with no action on gun
by and watch tragedy after tragedy unfold in our communities. They say we can't stop domestic terrorism.
I want you to
keep in mind, oh wow, we stopped at the exact same point. Keep in mind, the assault weapons ban, there was a reduction in gun violence during that time. Let me see if I can go find the source for that really quick, because I don't want to say it and then not have the source for it. Give me a moment. Oh, I get it. It's like Supreme. That's fun, but it's suppressed. Again, you can tell, like, I mean, it's obvious. This dude gets paid by gun manufacturers, so he's going to do what he has to do. Assault. I do chart. Why are you so goddamn small? Can I? Thank you. There we go. What is this by? Conversation, CCBYN. Let's see. Well, give me the... Okay, here we go. From the Oregonian. That's what this is from. Let's see. Shooting deaths from... Let's see. Yeah. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure this is from a reliable source. From the Oregonian. As you can kind of see, 1985 through the 90s until 95, the assault weapons ban is in there. Then it expires in the early 2000s. You see a huge jump, never came back, and look how much it's expanded. Gun violence has continued to rise in this country since the elimination of the assault weapons ban. And at the end of the day, this is more people dead. You can argue, oh, but civil liberties, that's fine. That's fine. If that's your argument, that's fine. But understand, this is the cost of that.
keep in mind that every gun law this so-called 28th Amendment wants to do on the federal level, California already has. Yet California has had the most mass shootings in the U.S. from 1982 to 2023. But
yes. God damn, this dude is so fucking disingenuous and very smug about it too. So let's break this down point by point.
Yet California has had the most mass shootings in
give me this.
Stop domestic terrorism.
I want you to keep in mind that every gun law this so-called 28th Amendment wants to do on the federal level, California already has. Yet
So the reason why Gavin Newsom would like to pass a 28th Amendment is because the Supreme Court right now has a pretty damaging perspective on the Second Amendment and is right now peeling back as many gun restrictions that states have have enacted themselves. So there's a reason why, the actual reason as to why California and Gavin Newsom are trying to pass this is to get out in front of the Supreme Court, basically overthrowing or striking their gun laws. We saw this in New York. New York, a couple years ago, if I remember correctly, passed a law. I believe it was. I'm trying to remember what was it. It was for New York's. Was it for a mag limit? It might have been a mag limit. Let me double check. New York gun law Supreme Court. Yep, here we go. The U.S. Supreme. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. The U.S. Supreme Court last year overturned century-old New York regulations, ruling that citizens had a broad right to carry concealed weapons. The state legislature, anticipating more gun toting, then made certain areas off limits to firearms, but the new law had already been challenged in court at least 10 times. Yeah. Can I get the language here? Yeah, because if I remember correctly, it was a yeah, it was like wasn't it like an assault rifle ban? New York Times, you're gonna make me. Let's see. Legislature to overturn century-old new gun regulations. God damn it! I just want to know what specific law. Supreme Court leaves New York's gun law in place for now. Law enacted response to decision to June striking down a restrictive. God damn you! I fucking hate all of you. Fucking news sites. Stop selling your bullshit. Fucking all it is fucking give us money, give us ads. Fuck you. Supreme Court Wednesday allowed New York gun control law that enacted in the wake of high school's landmark ruling in June that dramatically expanded the right to bear arms outside. Yeah, wasn't it Justice kept the landmark ruling in June? Expanded the right. I just want to know what the original law was. I don't remember it. It's been a very long time. Let's see. Supreme Court. I'm gonna lose my fucking shit. I don't care. Fuck you, NBC. Fuck yourself. 6-3 ruling court, second. Fuck. Go away. Go away. Okay, whatever. I'm so tired of this. NBC will rot. I know. I just want to know what the fucking bill language was, because I don't fucking thank you, routers. Routers, you won't ask me to turn off my ad blocker, will you? Let's see. Here we go. Justice rejected. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, that's all they're going to do. Justice rejected a request by 6 members of the firearms rights groups, Gun Owners of America, throughout lower court's decision, allowing the law to be enforced. U.S. District of October blocked enforcement as much of the law. Watch Breitbart for real news. That's funny. No justice publicly dissented from the decision. I mean, NBC might rot my brain, but Breitbart will definitely give me cancer. Official gun owners, man, I just want, okay. New firearm restrictions, Point is, in New York, they struck down New York's gun control laws, which again is really fucking rich, because like, how many times do you hear like states' rights from people like Clarence Thomas, Alito, and all the rest of the conservative judges? They want to talk about states' rights, but then when a state enacts gun control measures that are popular in their state, suddenly states' rights go fuck themselves. Like, okay, I see how it is. Anyway, where were we?
California has had the most mass shootings in the U.S. from 1982 to 2023. But
all right, let's talk about that number. So, does California have the most shootings between 1982 and 2023? The answer to that: no fucking shit. It has the largest, and do I need to bring up the chart? California is one of the most populous states. It is going to have the most of everything. That's kind of how it works. That's how population sizes work. That's why he didn't say per capita. That's why he didn't say on average. It's why he just went with a raw number, because a raw number is always going to give you California, Texas, and Florida, because they're large states. Yeah, no fucking shit. Same with Colorado. Like, whoa, you're telling me that the largest states have some of the largest gun violence statistics? Whoa, oh my God, amazing. I never would have thought, like, no shit. God damn.
Gavin Newsom is so brilliantly stupid that he wants to do on the national level what's not even working on his state level.
Do I need to, you know what? Fine, we'll do it. Fine, we'll do it. Ugh. CDC. Gun, what is it? Gun violence stats. Let's see. Let's all learn together. I'll take my death rate. Thank you very much. What do we got? Alabama, 26.4. Alaska, 25.2. Arizona. Like, I can do this all day. But if you'd like to know what the most dangerous states for gun violence are, they're right here. Right in here. All these deep reds. These two up here, right here. Now look at that. It's not hard. If you can read a fucking chart, if your brain isn't fucking filled with fucking sepsis, then you can understand this. Should be rather obvious what's going on here. Fuck's sake. Let's see. Why are we not? Why is this not? Yeah, I want by. Okay. Click for, yeah, no, I want. No, I don't want. Wait. I don't know why this isn't doing it by. What's it called? Instead, it's still doing it by. Yeah, what's Texas's? I'd love to see what's Texas's. Texas 15.6, California 9. Like, fucking Christ. Anyway.
Level. That's like Lizzo telling me that I should eat the same way she does in order to lose weight.
Without violence.
Bruh, do you think? Okay. Lizzo is Lizzo like performs on stage and does like a lot of choreography from what I understand. She's probably not in that awful of shape. Like being like overweight is not the only metric of being in shape and being athletic. Do you want to see you want to see some athleticism? You want to see some athleticism? Look at this big beefy boy. Look at this big beefy boy. He's probably got cardio better than every single one of you. This big fucking Texas-sized steak right here. This big motherfucker, I can almost guarantee you, has better cardio than like 80% of Americans. Out of here.
Violating the Second Amendment. And the thoughts and prayers are the best we can do.
Correction. The only way you want to stop domestic terrorism is by violating the Second Amendment. There's a difference. Nice try, though.
I'm here to say that's a lie. In this country, we do have the power to change things, to reclaim our freedom from fear.
Find it ironic that
it's also really funny whenever anybody's like, you're violating the Second Amendment. I was like, well, that kind of depends on your interpretation of the actual like amendment, doesn't it? For at the end of the day, these people want to pretend that we've always had the same understanding of the U.S. Constitution. We haven't.
That your idea to reclaim our freedom from fear is to take away our freedoms. How does banning the most popular rifle bought and used for self-defense and
oh no, you're gonna take away the thing that makes me feel like a man. Now I'm gonna be scared every time I leave my house.
used in less than 1% of gun deaths is a way to reclaim our freedom from fear. Sounds like to me you're projecting your fear of armed citizens
aren't allowed to
who
leave
can't be pushed around by a heavy-handed government.
Her ability to make a more perfect union
How many people do you
written
know go to the grocery store with their AR-15? Almost none of them. Holy shit, are we gonna stop every second, my guy? My fucking dude, are we gonna stop every sentence? Every sentence. Can you make a point?
Taking away people's fundamental rights. I can't think of anything more divisive than a rich political elitist who is surrounded by armed security 24/7 telling a
Brevla, I don't want to hear about rich. I can see the wall behind you. This is thousands of dollars of firearms. Spare me.
single parent mother living in the south side of Chicago that she can't own an AR-15 to protect her home, or someone who is disabled and living alone that they can't own a pistol caliber carbine for self-defense. Sounds more like a more perfect division of elitism to me, but what do I know? I'm just a silly little civilian to you.
So today,
he's definitely a silly little civilian. Let's be frank. Let's be really frank here. Who Colion Noir is a fucking LARPer. Was he in the military at some point? I have a disturbing feeling. I'm kind of curious. Who the fuck are you? Let's see. Gun rights activist, lawyer, host of a web series. Wow. Houston, Texas. Cool. I would love. Oh no, he's. Let's see. Finished high school, political science degree in Houston. So yeah. So not in the military, just another LARPer who likes to buy military style weapons because they need something to feel like a man. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It is what it is, though. I don't buy guns because I feel inferior. I buy guns because I like guns.
I'm proposing the 28th Amendment to the United States Constitution to do just that. The 28th Amendment permanently
Will this pass
enshrines
also? Probably not.
4 additions to the laws of our land.
Cool.
It raises the minimum age to purchase a firearm
Cool.
from 18 to 21. Because if you can't buy a beer, you shouldn't be able to buy a gun.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Quite frankly, I think we should also raise the age for joining the military, but okay.
The fact that he's equating the ability to buy alcohol to a constitutional right is wild. And ironic, considering the only amendment ever to be repealed was the 18th Amendment. You know, the one that tried to ban alcohol in the United States. Keep in mind.
Wait, this isn't a ban on guns, you fucking idiot. See, this is also, they only know how to argue against a ban on all guns. That's the only thing they just always say. It's a ban on guns. 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 No, it's not. It's not a ban on guns. You're not banned from guns any more than you are banned from drinking alcohol because you're restricted to being 21 before you're allowed to consume it legally. That's kind of how it's not a ban, but they have to always make it a ban. This is what I fucking hate. I cannot stand. I despise every fucking two-way LARPing bullshit activist like this. Every single one of them. I despise all of you because you are all a bunch of mini men, a bunch of little fragile, infantile babies. That's all you are all. You feel terrified without your fucking gun by your side because quite frankly, you're all insecure and you all hide behind an interpretation of a vaguely written law that you, by the way, ignore the first clause of, by the way, all so that you can feel like a real man carrying a gun. At the end of the day, you have the right to defend yourself. And there is a limit to how you do that. We do not let people buy tanks. We do not let people buy RPGs. We do not let people buy grenade launchers. I'm not even sure you can buy a flamethrower. I think there's like a very edge case for it, but you can't buy a flamethrower either. And the idea that, you're taking away my right, my liberty as an American because you're telling me that that there's some restrictions on my ability to enact force on somebody? No. That is not how this whole thing works. That's not how the law was written. That's not how anybody agrees to it in this society. It's fucking stupid, I swear. Ugh. I hate all of them. I hate every single one of them. They have no respect for guns. They have no respect for gun safety. They have no respect for other people. It's always just about them. It's always about their freedom. It's all about their feelings. And it's all about their insecurity.
Mind, an 18-year-old has to pay taxes, can vote, join the military, make contracts in their own name,
yeah, probably shouldn't be able to do that.
And are completely independent. So what Gavin Newsom is saying is that an 18-year-old living on their own doesn't deserve the right to have a gun for protection.
Yep. Sounds good to me. You have a right, like again, you don't need a gun to defend yourself. I don't think that's something that you need. It's essentially what we are trying to adjudicate here is what the bounds are to self-defense. And if you set that boundary way too fucking high, then you're going to get a lot of people who are going to get guns who should never have them. It's like anything else.
Mandates universal background checks to prevent truly dangerous people from purchasing a gun that can be used in a crime.
Oh, really? Because California has the most mass shootings in the country, and California has universal
You're such a fucking idiot.
background checks, and not to mention, from 1966 to 2019, 77% of mass shooters obtained their weapons they used in the crime legally, i.e. they...
Wait. Oh my God, is it raining that much out there? Oh, wow. It's raining outside my window. My window's like right there. Let's see. What do mass shooters have in common? They bought their guns legally. Yeah. Sounds about right. Yep. You do realize that they also legally bought them without like what's it called? Actually, wait. Oh, I can't read this article. It's New York Times. So whenever we talk about legally, that doesn't always mean that a background check was done. That doesn't mean that at all. A legally purchased firearm has nothing to do with a background check. You can legally purchase basically any gun without a background check. It's not always easy. You have to find somebody who's not going to run that check. But is it possible? Absolutely. And do we see a lot of illegal purchases done through that system? Yes, because we can't distinguish between legal and illegal purchases because there's no background check system to say, okay, this person talked to this person, they traded, they sold or traded, whatever. They gave them that firearm, they sold them that firearm, whatever. It traded ownership. That's what you need a background check for and a national registry for. It's to keep track of the guns that are in America. So that when, when Paul down the street gets his house burglarized and maybe, maybe he had a revolver and, the person who burglarized his house stole his revolver, right? What's going to happen is that person's going to go do one of two things. He's going to try to sell it to a private seller for which they need to do a background check, which will pop up. Oh, hey, this doesn't belong to this person. You should probably call the police. Or B, they sell it to somebody, they just give it to somebody. They give it to some criminal of some kind, whatever. To like, oh, 1 second. I got to close this window because that rain is coming in hard. On water, Mr. Squidward. Okay, there we go. Or, as I was saying, they sell it or give it to some other criminal. And guess what? When they use that firearm in a robbery and a whatever, that firearm gets seized. They do the background check on it. They say, oh, that's Paul's from down the street. How did this happen? Oh, his house got burglarized. Well, we can talk to this guy who we just found his firearm from. We can talk to him and interrogate him and go, where did you get this from? Oh, I don't know. I got it from this other guy. So this other guy must have burglarized the home. Then you go from there. There's a way to track this sort of stuff. But, it's an infringement on some rights. And if you're asking me, the trade on the infringement of my rights I'm actually pretty okay with that trade. If we can actually have a process to find this stuff and like properly process a lot of it. I personally think that is a good thing. But yeah, this has nothing to do with background checks. Whether the thing that he highlighted, bought legally, nothing to do with background checks. Absolutely nothing.
They had a background check. I've exposed the con that is.
Nope. Not true at all. Not true at all.
Universal background checks before. It's merely a backdoor way of establishing a national gun registration, which history has proven over and over again is always subsequently used to confiscate guns from the people.
Well, yeah, if you're breaking the law, then you probably shouldn't have access to firearms. That is true. And also, a registry at the end of the day is wait, was that was just conspiracy. Say that again.
Background checks before. It's merely a backdoor way of establishing a national gun registration, which history has proven over and over again is always subsequently used to confiscate guns from the people.
What history? What history? Not our history. National Gun Registry history. Let's see. In the United States, there's under gun laws, Australia, a person is required to have a firearm license. To possess a firearm, license holders must demonstrate a genuine reason, which does not include self-defense, for holding a firearm license, and must not be a prohibited person. All firearms must be registered by a serial number by the owner. Okay. Cool. So, right. Economic, education, road. Yes, road. Okay, so it's just it's just conspiracy. Gotcha. It's just conspiracy. Gotcha.
Institutes reasonable waiting periods for all gun purchases.
Reasonable to who? I'm sure Carol Bowen didn't think her waiting period was reasonable.
Had a restraining order and security cameras, but nothing was enough to save Carol Brown's life from a bitter ex-boyfriend who came to her house and stabbed her multiple times until she died. Carol knew the only way to protect herself was with a gun, but she was still waiting for her permit to be approved long after New Jersey's 30-day waiting period had passed. Did that state's gun laws play a role in her death?
Well, I would say under policing played a role in her death. The ability for somebody to get a gun, like, yeah, do I think it was the defining reason? Probably not. The fact that the police already didn't have, like, you know, somebody waiting outside of her home or anything like that, it's kind of under policing. Hilariously enough, somehow the police didn't have the resources suddenly to station somebody outside of her home for protection. You know, again, we have a fix for this. It's called police. Also, keep in mind, owning a firearm is not the same thing as being equipped to use it or adequate at using it. If you ask me, there is a absolutely non-zero chance that that guy would have came to her house, she would have grabbed her gun, and, you know, maybe 50-50 chance she actually gets to fire off at a proper round. If not, it's rather larger than her, probably wrestles it from her, and probably she gets shot with it. Now, both instances end up with somebody dead, but one was a lot easier than the other, and we can't really say for sure, for an absolute fact, that having a gun would have made her definitely safe. Only that maybe it would have increased her chances. Maybe. But even then, this is an edge case. This is a case where Fox News found an example where they can blame a liberal city's gun laws and, you know, frame that as the reason why somebody died. Go ahead and go look at that chart that I put up. I'll actually drop it in chat, matter of fact. CDC. What is it? Gun. No, I'm not on Google right now. God damn it. Oh, buddy, it's hailing. Can you guys hear that? No, you can't. Where's my chat? By all means. Golly. Hail's really coming down tonight. Great. Hopefully my car's not fucked, but we'll find out. Anyway, I do like this air, though. Very windy. Anyway, continuing.
She died in a stabbing, a brutal stabbing by this fellow Itel, waiting for the state of New Jersey and their local police to approve an application to purchase.
Yeah, like, why not have the police just stationed outside of her home?
Purchase a handgun.
And it bans civilians from buying assault rifles. Those weapons of war our founding fathers never foresaw.
So let me get this straight.
Yep,
Our founding
sounds about
fathers had the foresight to write our Constitution, the oldest and longest standing codified national constitution in force in the world today, but couldn't foresee that their personal rifles that they used to fight for this country's independence wouldn't become more advanced after 200 years? Never trust a politician who calls.
What? First of all, when the Constitution was written, it was during wartime. It was during wartime, you fucking idiot. No shit. Second of all, again, and I don't need to bring this up because I bring it up every time and everyone just pretends like it isn't there. What is the first thing the Second Amendment says? What was that? A well-regulated militia? Is that what it was? A well-regulated militia? Right. So what is that? And people like Colion Noir will go out there and say, oh, a well-regulated militia doesn't actually mean what a militia means. It means literally anybody. To which I have to ask, why did it not say the persons of the state? Why did it not say something more broad? Why was well-regulated militia the specific term used? And to him, it's unimportant. It doesn't matter. Ignore that part of the Second Amendment. Only focus on the right to people who bear arms shall not be infringed. Only that part. And it's why that's the part that they get fucking printed on their shirts, why they get that part tattooed on their skin, because that's the only part of it that matters to them. The well-regulated militia part, uninteresting. It's a part of the amendment they're not interested in talking about. And it's a part of the amendment that they're not interested in following. They want to talk about the Second Amendment as if it's like fucking handed down by the gods, except for the part that's inconvenient for them. Quite frankly, I don't give a fuck if the founding fathers knew that we were going to get AR-15s or didn't know we were going to get AR-15s. There is no place for an AR-15 in polite society. There just isn't. There's no use case for it. You don't hunt with them. You don't, there is not there's not this long story tradition of fighting the government with them. No. You want to go hunt some fucking deer. You want to go hunt some elk. You want to go hunt anything. You take a hunting rifle. AR-15s are for LARPers like Colion Noir to play army man in their backyards and in the forest that they live near with. That's all they're for.
Calls you a civilian instead of a citizen. It's dismissive and a huge indicator that he doesn't see you as an equal and believes that instead of working for you, he rules over you.
Guarantees states as well the ability to enact common sense gun safety laws while leaving the Second Amendment intact and respecting America's gun-owning tradition.
That's the actual tradition of American gun ownership right here. This is what gun ownership in the United States looked like for a vast majority of our history. A vast majority. This is what gun ownership looked like. But guys like Colion Noir, groups like the NRA, and manufacturers of all manner of weapons, after the point in which we weren't fighting wars and, there's not a million conflicts around the world, realized that they needed to continue to manufacture their weapons, and they needed to continue to make money, they got a business to run. They got money to make. So what did they do? They turned to commercialization. And when one guy gets a rifle, like one of these hunting rifles, do you need to get a new one? No. That rifle will probably be in that guy's family for the rest of his life. Maybe each member gets their own rifle at best, but that's about it. So they started shifting the marketing. They shifted it towards enthusiasts. They shifted it towards suburban dads. They shifted it towards insecure men. A bunch of people who couldn't or didn't go into the military, but who so desperately want that kind of manhood, that validation. And because of that, we have civilian AR-15s. We have, the obsession with tactical gear for civilian use. It's absurd. It's fucking LARP-y and absurd.
And respecting America's gun-owning tradition. The 28th locks in the common sense constitutional protections that Democrats, Republicans, independents, and gun owners overwhelm.
Yep. I haven't seen whatever numbers he's pulling from, but these are generally the numbers. I'm sure you could probably, what's the word? Give or take a couple percentage points. This is around the percentage for support of these. All of these measures, well, let's see. Background checks. Not an infringement on your right. You just have to prove that you're eligible and a responsible person to own them. I would actually put safety training in here, but, that's just me. Minimum age, again, it's not a ban. It's not infringing on your rights. There's just, you can't get a gun until you're a certain age. Same way you can't do a lot of things until you're a certain age. Waiting periods. I actually don't really favor waiting periods that much. I do think there should be I like 7 days. I think 7 days is perfect. I think 30 is way too long. 7 works fine for me. And assault, ban assault. There's no use case for them. There's not a use case. If your use case is challenging the government, sorry. That's not how that works. That's not how that law works. That's not how the Second Amendment works.
Overwhelmingly support.
First, the Second Amendment is not a tradition. It's a right, fool. The fact that you call it a tradition is the very reason our founding fathers wrote the Second Amendment in the first place. They knew actors of the government, such as yourself, would try to restrict the people's ability to own arms. So they codified that right in the Bill of Rights by telling...
This dude, seizes on every little syllable, because he has to make this the most specific of argument. It always has to be the founding fathers. Who gives a fuck? I don't care. You don't care. You didn't care when they put well-regulated militia, so shut the fuck up about them. You don't care. It's all a tool to say the same thing, which is there should never be restrictions on guns. And here's the difference. Here's the actual difference. There are people like me, and like, these are normal people. This is a majority of Americans who believe that there should be reasonable restrictions on gun rights. There's Gavin Newsom, who is now taking a strong stance, but not really enacting, I think, anything that strong with it. And then there's guys like this who just say no to everything. They're maximalist. They never, ever compromise. It's always the maximalist position. Because at the end of the day, if any gun control passes, it's on him. He understands that gun control passing broadly in the United States will affect his bottom line. The manufacturers who send him guns, the NRA which sponsors him, everybody else will end up losing money, and so will he. So he has to defend that with his dying fucking breath if he wants to continue to buy all those fancy firearms in the background that, guess what, he's never needed, he's never going to need.
You, the government, that our right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Yep, there it
That's
is.
why you
What
have to come up with this goofy 28th Amendment as a sophomore way to get around the Second Amendment, because the Second Amendment is part of the Bill of Rights, which guarantees civil rights and liberties to the individual, like the right to keep and bear arms. The founding fathers wrote the Bill of Rights to tell you, the government,
I love the idea that we had like civil rights passages in the foundation of America while keeping the 3-6 compromise.
So many people agree with these laws at the percentages you showed.
True.
All of these laws would be law already. 87% background checks, 81% for raising minimum age, 70.
Wait. Not background checks aren't universal, and also raising the minimum wage. I believe that's state by state. This would be you understand the difference between federal and state laws. State laws have some of these, but not all states do. This is a federal
for waiting
push.
periods and 61% for banning so-called assault weapons? Why the hell would you need to pass a whole new amendment instead of just getting a federal law passed? Further, if you had this much support for these laws, why are the...
Oh, okay, so somebody doesn't understand how this works. So the reason why you would pass an amendment and not legislation is because legislation eventually will be challenged in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is an incredibly to a friendly institution. They're also not beholden to any what's the word I'm looking for? They're not beholden to any consequences for their rulings. The Supreme Court hands down their rulings, and we as American citizens, you know, like good churchgoers, are just supposed to accept those as the word deemed by our United States priests. That is, at the end of the day, the relationship. There's a reason why a federal gun control law will never pass. And it's simply because it will always be struck down as unconstitutional under the current reading of the Second Amendment. That's why. Like, if you don't understand that, I'm really sorry, but you're a lawyer. You should kind of understand why an amendment is what they're going for here, instead of legislation. It's the same way why, if you ever watch The Young Turks, Cenk always talks about wanting to pass an amendment for getting money out of politics. It's not because it can't pass through legislation. It's because it won't. Because the people who would have to shepherd it through the House, through the Senate, through the Supreme Court, to the White House, everything, they all have incentive structures that will keep federal elections and elections broadly and the funding in those elections in place. Like, the system will protect itself as it is. So you need to get a convention by going through each state and enacting it so that you can get it put into an amendment, so the Supreme Court cannot simply say, no, that's unconstitutional. Because if it's an amendment passed by the people through a convention, the Supreme Court doesn't have a choice. They have to agree to it. They have to abide by that. They don't get to interpret it in a different way, the same way they've interpreted the Second Amendment. They don't get interpretation power in that way. Or at the very least, you write it in a way that's difficult for them to interpret it in a different way.
comments in the comment section turned off in this video. I'll tell you why. Because these numbers are bull. When it comes to how the actual country feels about these
I say
laws.
cuss words
We
all
got
the time.
these numbers from a Fox News poll where via telephone, they asked approximately 900 people by way of a process.
Wow, a Fox News poll. You don't even trust a Fox News poll. Do you think he trusts any other polling?
Process called random digit dialing. Last I checked, 900 people out of a country of over 300 million is hardly an indication of what the country thinks. Just
Also, keep in mind, that's like one poll. You can look up other polls, Colion. You know that, right? You could use the Google machine that I know is, well, maybe it might not be in this room. I'm not 100% sure. But you could Google it and find the numbers. Give me the real numbers then. If they're so different, hit me with the numbers.
Lastly,
guns
are common sense. The Second Amendment is common sense.
Let's see. Yes, a well-regulated militia being necessary. Yep. Again, there's a reason why they always only say the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This entire section never gets spoken ever by these people.
If you live in a world where bad people do bad things to good people having an effective means to protect themselves is common sense.
True.
There's nothing common sense about a law that makes it harder for people to protect themselves.
Whoa there, buddy. Whoa there, buddy. Are you arguing that there should be no restriction on the ability for somebody to defend themselves? So can I go out and buy an RPG to defend my home? Can I? Can I or can I not? I'm so fucking sick and tired of this debate. Can there or can there not be restrictions? It's a yes or a no. Then the question is, what restrictions can we accommodate? But again, when you're getting paid by weapons manufacturers, when you're sponsored by the NRA, none of that matters. Because your paycheck, Colion Noir, is all based on you defending the profits and the bottom line of your benefactors. That's all it is. You understand this as a lawyer. Your job is to defend your is to defend your defendant. And you're doing it. And you know what? You're good for you. But the rest of us would like to live in a safer nation. You know? Some of us would like our safety to be more important than your paycheck, bud. So, I'm done with this. It's rather annoying. I find these people incredibly infuriating, if you can't tell. Besides being disingenuous and dishonest, most of the time it's just conspiracy. That's all it is most of the time. It's just fucking conspiracy. But Okay. Anyway, you know the thing that they tell, like at the end of all YouTube videos where they tell you to like click on one of these like things to watch more videos. Yeah, I've been meaning to film one of those. So that's what I was doing. I was just setting it up to film one.